I'm working at the Imperial Hotel in Tokyo, and this area called Ginza, so which is center of Tokyo.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back as we continue our NSCRO coverage here at Hickey Field on the campus of Siena College. Up next, we have the third-place matchup between Minnesota Moorhead and Wisconsin Stevens Point. As we get underway, this is Leverett Ball, your play-by-play announcer, coming to you live on the NSCRO YouTube channel and the Next Level Rugby channel.
Guys, we're using this line right here.
And we'll have a quick line out for Wisconsin Stevens Point. And they're able to win the line out. Now moving it down the line. You can see plenty of space between their backs there when they set up that line. Obviously, a team with a lot of speed trying to make some explosive plays offensively. And now spacing out. This could be a scoring opportunity. And into the corner, and a quick try. So Wisconsin Stevens Point already on the board. And they went down the entire line. They are getting everyone involved. And certainly, a change of pace from the St. John's match, which I called earlier today. St. John's, a very good team offensively, but they were a team who would, use their pack and try and muscle past defenses, run people over. Now, this Wisconsin Stevens Point team, on the other hand, as I noted right away, leaving plenty of space between their backs, and, really passing the ball a lot, using their speed, and quickly on top. And the kick does not connect. Obviously, as I've talked about a little bit today, when you score those tries in the corner, the kicks are a little bit harder. Wisconsin Stevens Point, though, out to a 5-0 lead. And we're just about 2 minutes into the match. So some fireworks early. Now Minnesota State Moorhead will kick.
First knock by red and then by white.
So a knock-on called. And we'll have a scrum. First scrum of the match.
Left, please, as we talked about. Thank you. Up. I'm not happy with the space here. Okay. I need your left foot on the left. Excuse me, your right on the left side. Thank you. Right, can you give me some more space? We're a little tight. Thank you.
And obviously, with it being the first scrum of the match, players still trying to get on the same page with the official as to how to set up the scrum.
Set. Stay behind 9. Stay behind 9.
So Wisconsin able to win that scrum. And now starting to break free in the open field. One-handed catch there. A little bit of an errant pass. Able to catch it, though, with one hand and maintain full speed. Made it look easy. And as that pass dropped and a knock-on called. Elliot Van Oss there with the knock-on. Looked like he was thinking about his next move before he looked the ball in.
Too close on this one. On the last one. All right, I need to see the tops of everybody's heads before I say set. All right, drive down. Top. Crouch. Bind. Set.
So Minnesota Moorhead will take the scrum. And look to move it down the line. As that pass dropped. No knock on called as he deflected it backwards. Now Wisconsin back in possession, but play whistle dead. Wisconsin will take the scrum, though.
On the back of his shirt, okay? Don't look at the shoulder. Look for the number. Crouch. Find. Up. Right. Up, guys. You're under. You're over.
And so the props from both sides still not completely on the same page
Crouch. Find.
when setting up the scrum.
Free kick.
And play whistle dead again.
Back 10. Back 10. Back 10. Early engage.
So now a back 10 penalty called for an early engage on the scrum. And Wisconsin will maintain possession. And looking to break away there.
Leave it, leave it, leave it, leave it.
It was Elliot Van Oss. Was taken down hard. And now Wisconsin picking and going out of the scrum.
Leave it 12.
And Wisconsin trying to add to their lead. Starting to creep closer and closer into Minnesota territory. There's a hard tackle made there. Ruck set. And Wisconsin will kick it back out. The line was a little flat there as the tackle made, but Wisconsin will maintain possession. The last couple times spinning the ball out, they didn't have a very steep back line. As a tackle broke in there, and the offload dropped. A big hit at the end.
Option. Red. Scrum line out. Option red. Line out chosen.
So a line out chosen by Minnesota Moorhead.
There you go.
And that shows the ability they have in their line-out team. An ability to win balls in the air. As they win that one, and they'll kick it out again. And all the way down the line now.
Tackle.
The tackle made. Scrum set once again. Low pass. Now Minnesota sets the scrum and will look to spin it out. As that pass deflected in the air and picked up by Wisconsin. This could be a scoring opportunity. Still no tackle made.
Leave it, no red.
Wisconsin really threatening now.
Wait, no, leave it,
ruck.
leave it, leave it.
And now looking to drive it in. And appeared the ball was fumbled before he crossed the line. And actually now they're awarding him a try. So he was able to break the plane and touch it down before losing that ball. So Wisconsin now able to add to their lead, and they will attempt the conversion kick. And as you see there, ball did pop out, but not until after he scored. So the correct call made, as the kick does not connect, but it is 10-0 Wisconsin now. Just a little over 9 minutes into the match. Wisconsin off to a great start. And it all started with that deflected pass. Minnesota Moorhead had the ball in their possession. pass was deflected in the air, creating the turnover. Wisconsin able to capitalize. As that ball kicked off short, and Wisconsin will go back to work. That pass bouncing but scooped up.
No, it was not. It was knocked on first.
And they will call a knock on.
Come here, please.
Minnesota Moorhead.
All right, our last free kick.
We'll take the
last
scrum.
Was for early engagement. Okay, we need space. This is your ball. We're gonna have space. All right. Crouch. Bind. Set.
So Minnesota will go to work and try to cut into this Wisconsin lead. Now looking to move it down the line as the tackle made. And Minnesota rucks over the ball. And they'll spin it out once again. And a hard hit there. And taken to the ground with an exclamation point. Play whistle dead.
Need a full release first before you go up to
And
the
Minnesota
ball.
Moorhead will maintain possession. Quick tap and go. As the ruck formed. Now spinning it out. Hard hit. No one's there to support. And the ruck blown up by Wisconsin. No one was there with him. Had no support in the ruck. And it results in a turnover.
Wait, back up. Thank you.
And now Wisconsin will try to add to their 10-point lead.
Step, step, step right, step.
And now they'll spin it out with the skip pass. And starting to break free into the open field. The offload intercepted. So mistake there by Wisconsin. Minnesota catching a break, and they're back in possession.
Up, step back, please. Thank you.
And a hard tackle made there. As Minnesota will spin it out. And Minnesota now having a little trouble getting in sync offensively, getting multiple passes in. As that ball deflected, Minnesota, though, able to recover. But Wisconsin has been all over them to this point defensively. As that ball spun out once again. And a hard hit right there. And it looks like it will be a line out for Wisconsin. It will be. And Wisconsin will spin it out once again. As play whistle dead. That appeared to be a forward pass. And we'll have another scrum for Minnesota.
The remaining time. Probably me. Crouch! Bind! Up.
Play whistle dead again.
Reset. Too far. Let's set a proper distance, okay?
So the scrum issues continue. Neither
Hookers,
team's
all that is expected of
on
you,
the same
all
page
right?
with the officiating. And it's actually been a few
Crouch.
times now that the
Bind.
scrums have been stopped after not being set up
Set.
properly.
Behind the ball. Behind the ball, White. Now the ball's out.
As that ball spun out. And now a loose ball. Still
Ball
loose.
backwards.
And Wisconsin back in possession,
Tackle.
taking advantage of the errant pass. And they'll go back to work in good position. Offload caught on one bounce. And taken to the turf.
Tackle.
Wisconsin now not set up as steep.
Red release. Don't play that
Obviously,
5. Leave that. Leave it 5.
That close to the try line, just trying to muscle it in.
Stay there.
Minnesota, though, hanging in there. And a
Yeah.
loose ball. Play whistle dead.
You guys can't reach through to play the ball. Reach through, can't play.
A quick touch and go.
You made
And
the goal
not
line.
quite
You're
in.
short. It's the gold goal line, gentlemen. That ball's out.
Wisconsin needs to get across that gold
Move 12.
line. So
Move 12.
close. Still not quite there. And now adjusting, spinning it out.
Lead.
Minnesota didn't fall for it, though, able to make the stop.
No. The offside line is up.
And thus far, this has
Yeah.
been
Wait,
an
wait.
impressive
Okay.
defensive
Yeah,
stand
no goal. Yeah, no goal.
by Minnesota, now actually creating
Guys,
the
play that.
turnover. So Minnesota actually making a statement there defensively and standing their ground on the try line. And now breaking free. Still loose. Someone needs to support him.
Hands up. Keep hands.
And Minnesota able to hustle down and ruck over the ball. Talk about a turn of events. Minnesota with that great defensive stand and then the breakaway run. And maybe they can capitalize on this momentum. And there's a hard tackle made there. Clean hit. And now Minnesota's starting to stall a little bit offensively. And just running east and west now.
Here, fellas.
And now the pass deflected.
Knocked on.
And a knock on called.
White scrum.
So it'll be a
on
Wisconsin
by Red.
scrum. Minnesota, they're starting to get on a little bit of a roll offensively, but they were just set up a little bit too flat in their back line.
All right,
Couldn't really
gentlemen,
get
we've had
anything
some
going.
good scrums here. The first time we're having a red defensive scrum. So let's have a good one.
Then
Right?
kind of a bizarre play there. The pass deflected in the air. The knock on called.
Crouch.
And Wisconsin will take the scrum.
Bind. Up. This is the problem. Pop your shoulder out. All right. That way I can have a shoulder-to-shoulder line all the way through.
And issues in the scrum continue. And both sides have struggled.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
So now Wisconsin
Stay
will go
bound.
back to
Stay
work.
bound.
And spinning it out. And now starting to break free. And they'll reset. And the tackle made.
Keep moving then.
Ruck set. Wisconsin now getting steep once again. Pass caught on a bounce. And now breaking free. And this could be another scoring opportunity. And another try for Wisconsin. And that shows, what a difference just one missed tackle can make. And Wisconsin with their third try of the match. And that was Jerry Williams that time, finishing it off, but set up by his teammate, Elliot Van Oss.
Off my right shoulder here. You're good.
Another very tough kick. All three of these tries scored in the corner. And the kick comes up short, but nonetheless, Wisconsin now with the 15-0 lead over Minnesota. We're just a little over 20 minutes into this match.
I appreciate the catch on that. I thought I saw grounding, but
we'll see now if Minnesota can respond. A team like Minnesota, with the speed they have, they need to get their backs steep and move the ball down the line. Against a hard-hitting team like Wisconsin, they're not going to be able to outmuscle them. They need to be able to move the ball if they want to come back in this game.
work backwards.
As the ruck set. And the tackle made. Ruck set once again. And that pass deflected, knock on called.
To catch that. Yeah.
Tanner Akers was going for the interception there. If he caught that cleanly, we might be talking about Wisconsin's fourth try of the day.
That'd be really disappointing for me.
And there are times, defensively, when you're able to intercept a ball or pick up a loose ball and you just have the entire field to run. But not quite able to reel it in was Tanner Akers. Great anticipation on his part, though, being in the right place at the right time.
Crouch!
Didn't squeeze it.
Find! Set!
So it'll be another scrum for Minnesota. And they'll look to move it down the line. Now running a switch. Wisconsin didn't fall for it. Ruck set. Solid run there. The tackle made. Ooh. The big man says, get out of my way. Gotta love the physicality. That was Nate Lavka throwing a tackler to the turf. And it is never fun trying to tackle a prop one-on-one. As Minnesota now starting to get on a little bit of a roll offensively.
Good. Now it's a tackle. It's a tackle.
The tackle made after a little bit of maul there.
You have advantage. 4 entry.
And play whistle dead. Appears there may be an injury on the field. And that appears to be George Fiend from Wisconsin.
Puck's off. You okay?
Actually, excuse me. My apologies. I couldn't tell as he was laying down. That was actually Gerard Capello from Minnesota. He was injured on the play. My apologies. Now, talking with the trainer.
Yeah. Well, it's also your call.
And unclear whether or not he will remain in the match.
I don't want to have an evaluation, right? Okay. take him off. Out.
And
Okay,
it
all right.
appears he is leaving the pitch.
Here. 4, side entry.
Or maybe not. He's actually still out there. He took a step towards the sideline. As a breakaway opportunity here. And Minnesota has their first try of the match. That was Tanner Molitor. Just running north and south there. Didn't need any fakes. Able to use his big body
5 out here.
to steamroll his way into the try zone. And now
Okay,
Minnesota on the
line,
board.
Stand out. Beyond that. That's how I was growing up. The guy slapped me in the elbow. Yeah, it hurt.
And Capello
right in the
will
face.
attempt to kick for Minnesota. So unable to connect there. But Minnesota is on the board. Wisconsin's lead now cut down to 15-5.
Yeah, we're good. Good attempt. You're good. You're good to go. Yep. He made an attempt to approach the ball. 2.
So now Wisconsin will kick.
Caught me on the left.
And there it is, fielded by Minnesota. Looking to make a big return here. Tackle made. Ruck set. And a nice stiff arm there. And off to the races. So Capello, not long ago, speaking with the trainer, it wasn't clear if he'd even remain in the match, now making a huge run. So he appears to be all right.
Red,
And
we're
a
using
great
the
play
white
there on
your-
his part.
Your white line. The white line is your line. White, give me a step. It's your line out, but we're okay.
But now Wisconsin will take the line out. And they go to the front pod, now spinning it out. Faking the switch there. And now setting the ruck, but Minnesota
Leave that
blowing up
15,
the
leave it
ruck.
15.
And now taking possession of the ball. Minnesota just able to get a little bit lower there
Leave it white. White. Now.
and blow up that ruck. And now they're back on offense. But now Wisconsin able to respond, blow up a ruck of their own. And now off to the races. And he should be able to touch this down right in the middle. And Wisconsin with their fourth try of the match. Elliot Van Oss taking it the distance. And Wisconsin pulls another step away. And this should be a much easier kick attempt for Wisconsin. Obviously, their last 3 tries scored in the corners of the try zone, setting up nearly impossible kicks. At that time, though, obviously, Van Oss able to break free,
You want?
place the ball exactly where he wanted it.
Okay. I agree.
And we'll see if Wisconsin can hit their first kick of the match.
Hey, just let you know. So the 4-letter word is not going to be great.
So Wisconsin unable to connect, but still with a comfortable lead. It's now 25, just a little over 28 minutes into this match. And Minnesota will kick once again.
If you can, that way I don't get hit in the head.
And a short kick there, fielded by Wisconsin. The tackle quickly made. Wisconsin now will set the ruck and look to spin it out. Errant pass there, but scooped up. And now quickly turned over, but play whistle dead. And we'll have another scrum here.
All right.
We'll see if they can get this one off cleanly. Obviously, there have been some issues, as I've talked about, on both sides, setting up the scrums cleanly. The officials have had to
Crouch.
stop the scrums and reset them multiple times already.
Set. Leave your foot down.
So that scrum, they're able to get it off cleanly. Wisconsin now going back to work offensively. And now turning the corner. Nice offload there.
Tackle! Release. I need you to release. Stay there.
And the ruck set. And breaking a tackle there. Not going down without a fight.
Tackle. 8.
That was Vanden Langenberg.
Tackle!
So now Wisconsin trying to use their pack, play some smash mouth rugby, and now spinning it out once again. And guess who? Van Oss back in possession there for a minute. And he's certainly been a thorn in the side of this Minnesota team.
There.
Now Minnesota back in possession. Tackle made. Ruck set. And trying to break free. The offload made. And now they've got some running room. But a nice tackle in pursuit. And a great hustling defensive play there by Tanner Akers.
Run up on you, eh? Slow, no.
We've seen him make some breakaway plays offensively. That time, using his speed to track down the ball
Clock's off.
carrier in the
14
open
red.
field.
Off, please. Thank you. Clock's off.
And there he is. That's just all hustle.
Clock's on.
So Wisconsin will take another line out. And that time they go to the second pod, but can't connect. Minnesota able to capitalize. And now Minnesota will spin it down the line. Still just going east and west, though. And at this point, with the east and west approach, they appear to have a lot more confidence in their pack than they do in their back line. Not really getting the back line involved a ton.
4. 4. Slow to move. Here, please. Mark's here. 9. Come to Mark, please.
So Minnesota will maintain possession. As the ruck set, they'll stay with the pack. And a dummy fake there.
Backwards by White.
No,
Maybe
loose
red.
ball. And now Wisconsin back in possession. So Wisconsin able to fight defensively, win that ball back, and they'll go back to work now offensively. And they'll use a skip pass there. And another skip pass. But Minnesota all over it, able to break that
Not
play up.
Touched by White. All right, option red. Option. Captain, line out. Scrum. Line out, scrum. Option.
Another shove there by Minnesota going
Line out,
side to
scrum.
side, covering the
Yeah,
entire field.
That doesn't
And
matter.
not allowing Wisconsin to break free as they have on a couple
Guys, we're
possessions
using a
so
white
far
line,
this
all right?
match.
No. That means I'm going to stand here, right? Like that.
So now Minnesota will take the line out. And in a threatening position.
Good steal.
But the ball stolen by Wisconsin. And some big-time physicality in the ruck. And now Wisconsin will try to move it down the line once again. Looking to break free in the open field. Tackle made. Getting down the line. And the offload made, but quickly brought down.
Leave it.
Ruck
Leave it
formed.
23. Leave it 23.
And now starting to work their way into Minnesota territory as another skip pass. And this could be an opportunity to break free. And now a kick and chase, a collision. And another try for Wisconsin. So Wisconsin knew that Minnesota did not have numbers back defensively, and they're able to exploit that with the kick and chase. And that results in their 5th try of the match, and we're just a little over 34 minutes in. It looked for a second there like Kyle Schoen would kick and chase himself, but colliding with a Wisconsin player there. As you see, the collision there, he might have been able to take it himself, but his teammate had his back. That was Kevin Vanden Langenberg. So unable to connect on the kick there. But Wisconsin hasn't really needed the kick, still winning 25-5, and they've dominated both offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
And Minnesota will kick once again. As that kick fielded by Wisconsin, and they'll go back to work. Now with some daylight.
The tackle. 12, make sure you're bringing your arms forward to wrap, okay? You have high tackle advantage.
And now the ruck formed.
Penalty advantage.
And they take it right back into contact as they start to stagger their back line a little bit more. And Tanner Akers set up on the wing. Look for them to try and work the ball down to him. If he gets free in the open field, he is very hard to catch.
You still have advantage.
And some tough running there. That's Liam Enright. Not going down without a fight.
The guys are knock on there.
And the offload deflected in the air. Now a knock on called.
Knock on, but penalty. Gents, there's a penalty. High tackle.
So actually a penalty called now for a high tackle.
Number 27. 7. Guys, there's a penalty here on number 7. Guys, I need you to get back 10, please. All right, 9.
So Trey Mathnis called for the high tackle. Wisconsin will maintain possession. And nearly another high tackle there.
Leave it.
You know, that's something that officials have tried to crack down on in recent years. Those high tackles lead to so many injuries. And in the name of making the sport safer, obviously, officials keep an eye out for those types of plays, as they should.
New penalty advantage, 9.
dropped and a knock on.
Clock's off, please. 9. Captain. He's going to be here. Actually, I'm good with 9. Just need the captain, please. Just captain.
And now the captain's being summoned for a minute.
Just had 2 in like about a minute and a half. We got to lower the tackles. Okay.
And having a word with the official.
Yeah, so let's lower him down,
about
please, okay?
lowering tackles. Just what I was talking about a second ago.
Right here. 9.
Obviously, the
Guys, I'm here on the
officials
mark, so you can come up
trying
to
to limit injuries as much as they can. Obviously,
high tackle, 9.
in contact sports, you can't limit the injuries altogether, but obviously, you know, paying attention to details like high tackles can at least limit some of them. Wisconsin will spin it out, and a knock-on call there. Van Oss couldn't quite handle it cleanly. A tough play on his part to try and reel that in, that pass bouncing before it got to him. And obviously in the slightly sloppy conditions, very hard to reel that in cleanly. We'll have another scrum. And Minnesota will take the scrum.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
And now Minnesota getting back to work, trying to get on a roll offensively.
Picked up. Clock's off, please.
And now play stopped for a minute. Appears to be an injury on the field. It's Christian Larson who's
Not
down.
halftime. Okay.
Let's hope he's all right. The trainer has come out onto the field.
Captain. No, yeah, this captain. Okay. Had 2 penalties against them for dangerous tackles. That's a high tackle, dangerous tackle. Okay. Need you guys to not dump. Don't have a number. The only reason why, because it was a 2-man tackle. It's going. All right. Safety. You guys have safety. They'll have safety. All right. Talk to your team, please. Wait. Hold on a second, guys.
And now,
it's where the penalty is.
Kyle Schoen, after speaking with the official, will remind his team to avoid dumping players while tackling them. And
Captain Schatzman had.
We obviously talked a second ago about the high tackles. Another very dangerous type of tackle is, when you grab a player by his jersey and try to sling him to the ground. And that was what resulted in the injury of Christian Larson from Minnesota. Obviously, with so many players in the U.S. transitioning into rugby, late, in like late high school and their college careers from other sports, a lot of the injuries at the college level come from players tackling incorrectly. So that'll do it for our first half of action. At the half, Wisconsin leading Minnesota by a score of 25-5. We'll be right back.
Working at the Imperial Hotel in Tokyo, and this area called Ginza, which is center of Tokyo.
It's a great day to be a Saint. Got our paws on some sophisticated technology. Practiced a little saint-like behavior. We came and went the distance toward discovery. Preparing to join the ranks of the saints before us. We're a school with heart, in pursuit of greater inspiration that connects us forever.
Hey everybody, it is 2019, and in 2018, Next Level Rugby was all over the country and the world, bringing you coverage of our sport up close and personal. It all started in Denver, then headed out to Vegas, and then next thing you know, we're in New York City, Japan, Austin, Texas, and a bunch of other places all across the country. But we would really like to thank the players, our fans, and most importantly, our partners that are helping to drive the growth of American rugby here in the United States and beyond. So let's just take a look at some of the shots that, we really loved and fell in love with, and, what made 2018 a special year is going to make 2019 even better. We're looking forward to what 2019 brings, and stay tuned. And remember, every day is a rugby day.
Commitment.
As we bring you more NSCRO rugby action. And Wisconsin hanging on to their 25-5 lead. And they've, done a great job all match spacing the ball out on offense, using all of their backs. And as a result, they're on top. Both teams having some issues with penalties in the first half. A number of penalties called for high tackles and other forms of dangerous tackles. And Minnesota will kick to start the half. And a short kick. Minnesota.
Option. Scrum chosen.
So Wisconsin will take the scrum. Minnesota obviously trailing by as many as they are, trying to win the ball right out of the jump.
Like 15 minutes.
So Wisconsin will take the scrum.
Fire. Oh, yeah. I'm serious about that, guys. All right. Crouch! Bind! Set.
And now Wisconsin spinning it out. Man, trying to get off to a hot start offensively. As the ruck is formed. Now moving it down the line. Couple tackles broken there. Finally brought to the turf. And Wisconsin trying to pick up where they left off.
Leave it, Red.
And a switch pass there.
Okay.
And play whistle dead.
Knocked on.
A knock-on call that appears we will have another scrum. And on Minnesota's next offensive possession, we'll see if they adjust their approach at all. They really tried to pound the rock with their pack in the first half. I was talking a lot about how I thought they needed to space it out a little bit more, use some more passes. And we'll see, if they make that adjustment. And now some space. And the offload made cleanly. Tackle made.
Make it. There we go, too.
The ruck formed. Minnesota going back to work, so looking a lot more in sync. Those
Ripped
last
out
couple
backwards
passes
by
than they
White.
did throughout
Ripped
the entire
backwards by
first
White.
half. As the loose ball
Carried
picked up
in
by
by White.
Wisconsin. And now off to the races. And now they'll try to reverse the field as that pass deflected. And scooped up by Wisconsin. And now moving it down the line. The offload completed cleanly. We've seen a
Advantage
couple
gained.
very nice offloads this half.
Penalty.
One by Minnesota, that one by Wisconsin as play whistle dead.
Faster. Leave it. Not leave it.
And a
9. Faster, please.
little
Gotta move.
feistiness after the play there. That's rugby, though. It's an emotional game. And Wisconsin will give it a boot. And it appears
Captain.
they will now take the line out.
Captain. We've worked on moving faster. Now we're starting to regress. Faster, please. All right. Use this. A little bit more space, please. Thank you.
So Wisconsin will take the line out. And they have their back set pretty steep.
up.
We'll see if they try and mix in some skip passes. And now trying to move it down the line. And giving it a boot. Minnesota, though, in position, not falling for it. That's why you always have to keep your fullback back.
Tackle.
The tackle made, and the ruck set. Minnesota will go back to work. And now starting to break free, but finally brought down. And using the pack once again.
3. Move faster, please.
And almost the entire back line for Minnesota still pretty flat as they set another ruck. And now losing the ball, it's a turnover. Wisconsin all over it, but another fumble. Play whistle dead. And Wisconsin will take another scrum. You know, I talked a lot in the first half about how both teams had issues
Here you go.
obeying the official's command in the scrum. A
Fine.
number of scrums were stopped.
Set.
We'll see if that continues here in the second half. This one getting off cleanly. And Wisconsin going back to work. And now resetting the ruck. And they'll spin it out again. Trying to get it down the line. Looking for an offload. And now that ball stolen by Minnesota. So Minnesota able
Advantage
to force the
gained, but not
turnover
gone.
there, and they'll go back to work. There's a hard hit there.
No, we're good. We're good. Playing on. Playing on. Leave it. Leave it. 7 or 1.
And now Minnesota will look to set the ruck. Wisconsin was countering hard. Loose ball.
Yeah,
And
he stuck
play
his hand in there.
whistle
That was
dead.
nothing.
It may have been a knock on. For a moment, it looked like
Physio.
Wisconsin might have a breakaway opportunity as there's another injured player. The trainer has come out onto the field. And that appears to be Dodone Masambuco from Minnesota. Can't see the jersey number, though, with him down. And it was Masambuco.
White, substitution. Okay.
And unclear whether or not he'll be able to remain in the match.
Okay.
Some nice sportsmanship there by his opponent, Van Oss, helping him to his feet. And obviously rugby, with it being such a violent, intense, competitive sport, it's also a sport that's played with a lot of class.
Yeah.
So Masambuco will head to the sideline with the assistance of the trainers.
Are they going to cross right here?
By all accounts, he appears to be done for the day. You hate to see that. You know, obviously both teams traveling a good distance to play here in this tournament. And you hate to have your tournament ended with an injury. But that's, like I said, a reality of contact sports. And a big collision there. Wisconsin, though, answering the bell. And now a breakaway run. This could be just what Minnesota needs. The tackle made, ruck formed once again. Minnesota will go right back to the pack. Now threatening.
Work back.
And, you know, it's still pretty early in the second half. Minnesota does have time to work their way back into this match as they continue to drive. And now Minnesota will try to drive it into the corner, but now they reset. Let's see if they spin it out. And they do, but sticking with the pack and trying to muscle it in.
Short.
Not quite there. Ooh, and a hard hit there right in front of the try line.
Don't play that.
And Minnesota able to finally drive it across for their second try of the match.
Captain, white captain.
Yeah, and Wisconsin obviously a physical team. And if Minnesota was going to get the ball across the try line, they were going to have to pay the price physically.
7 needs to move faster. All your players need to move faster to the goal line after the tackle.
But nicely done there by Austin Lee. Not one of the biggest players on this Minnesota roster, but lowering his shoulder nonetheless. And taking it in. So now Minnesota will attempt the kick.
Hit the big blue dot, okay? Hit the big blue dot.
And neither team has been able to hit a kick yet this match.
A lot closer, though.
So that streak will continue. But Minnesota cutting into Wisconsin's lead. It's now 25-10. And in just a second, Wisconsin will kick it away. And a short kick there. And quickly brought to the turf. Ruck formed. Minnesota now going back to work, and almost a breakaway there. Brought to the turf. Looked like he had some daylight. Minnesota picking up the pace a little bit offensively. Taking into contact there. Tackle made.
Wait, no, don't play that, White. No.
Now play whistle dead.
It was still in. It was still in.
And hands in the ruck ruled on Wisconsin. So it'll be a back 10 penalty. And Minnesota will go back to work. And
Try harder,
continuing
please.
to take it into contact. And I guess their hope is, if they continue to play physical smash mouth rugby, they'll start to wear down this Wisconsin team. Wisconsin Stevens Point, though, on their end, a very physical team as well. And they're certainly not going to be pushed around as that ball taken back into contact. And the ruck formed, and they'll spin it out. And Minnesota continues to use 1 pass at a time out of the ruck, just getting that 1 pass off and taking it into contact.
Tackle.
There's a tackle made.
16, I need a fuller release before you go for the ball.
But Minnesota still driving and starting to threaten once again.
Win with the body.
And now looking to pick up back-to-back tries as that ball stolen. And Wisconsin back in possession.
But no, the ball is available there.
And Wisconsin was starting to get bulldozed a little bit on that last possession. They decided they'd had enough. And they were able to blow up that ruck, respond to Minnesota's physicality. As Wisconsin will smartly give it a boot. That ball dropped, and a knock-on called.
White 6, substitution.
Skylar Angles there called for deflecting that ball forward. But as you see there, Wisconsin blowing up the ruck, responding to Minnesota's physical challenge.
Puck's on. Here. Oh, hey, pucked off. Blood's up. Yep. The guy that's bleeding.
Some more comic relief from the officiating crew.
Hey.
And officiating rugby is certainly not an easy job. You have to have that sense of humor.
Puck's on. Right here.
So a blood substitution made, and as the official said, for the one who's bleeding. I'm glad we could clarify that. And we'll get back to work with a scrum here for Wisconsin.
Fine. Up. Up, up.
And
right.
the scrum issues continue.
Right. I need you to keep space. Understood? All right. Space, Red.
In the last couple of scrums that have been stopped, Minnesota has been called for
Crouch.
encroaching a little bit.
Fine.
And engaging a little early in the scrum.
Again. Guys, back 10.
And they do it once again,
22, early
and
drop.
they're given a back 10 penalty. It was Jake Klein who was called for the encroachment in the scrum for Minnesota. As Wisconsin will set the ruck, and they have numbers. But they will stay with the pack. And now starting to drive.
Leave 5. 5.
And rucking over the ball. Wisconsin has done a great job this half of supporting each other in the ruck. Getting more than one player in the ruck at a time.
No.
As they continue to drive.
No. Be quiet, 12. Be quiet, 12. Unfortunately, knock on to an offside player. Leave the ball. No. Never going to ask you. I'll never ask you. No, he was a knock on to an offside player. 16 just picked it up. They could have played it. Penalty.
So Wisconsin penalized there. Or excuse me, no, yes, Wisconsin penalized. So Minnesota will take it. catching a break there as Wisconsin was threatening a little bit.
Tackle.
And the tackle made there. Minnesota will continue to try to drive the ball. And they continue to go with the pack as they have all match long. And this Minnesota approach, this is classic old school 15s rugby. Just picking and going.
8, not rolling. You still have advantage.
Minnesota continues to drive. Offload made.
Roll, White. All right, advantage gained. Advantage has been gained. 17 roll.
And a hard tackle made there. Nicely done. Good technique. Clean hit. When you tackle that way, you can hit hard and, not risk injury the way, you do on some of the penalties we've seen earlier in the game for, high tackles and swinging players to the turf by the jersey. Now starting to break away. Minnesota now threatening as play whistle dead.
Good job. Just lost the forward when you try to go up. Clock's off. Blood sub return. Yeah, go ahead.
So the blood sub will return.
Contact as well. You okay?
And now play
Hey,
pause
you guys got
momentarily. Appears to
water?
be another injury on the field.
What was
Nothing
the
serious,
decision
though.
plan? Okay, yeah. We'll wait.
Appears Josh Estel
We just got a contact.
from Wisconsin. He lost his contact lens, so no injury. Just taking him in to put his contact back in.
And because he's front row, wait.
The trainer coming out to assist him, and obviously with him being in the pack, they cannot set the scrum until he's all set. So play paused about 58 minutes into this match, and Wisconsin still leading Minnesota by a score of 25-10, and just about set to get another scrum going.
Good for him, man.
Minnesota called for
Fine.
penalties on the last two scrums. See if
Set.
they can stay out of trouble here. And Wisconsin spins it out of the scrum, and they'll give it a boot. That ball kind of going off the side of the foot, though. Not a ton of distance on that kick.
Throw it at the
And it appears it'll be a line out.
white line. White line.
And Wisconsin will take the
How
line
many
out.
guys? 5, 4.
So not the deepest kick in the world, but able to do the job and reset things a little bit. Excuse me, Minnesota took the time or the line out. They'll go back to work.
Leave it.
And Minnesota in decent position. And we'll see if they can continue to chip away at Wisconsin's lead.
3, roll.
And as the tackle made,
Seven, you got to move faster, please.
and a hard hit there.
7, move faster.
Wisconsin making a statement with that hard tackle. As Minnesota continues to chip away.
Now we're good. Backwards.
And now a loose ball. Minnesota continuing to go to work. And starting to really threaten.
Don't play that.
And a late shove there. Play whistle dead.
Stay here. Captain.
And the captains will be called in once again.
Everybody else back 10 except for 4.
And it's certainly not been a smooth match.
We've already chatted about too
Both
much time.
Both teams called for a number of different penalties.
Clearly from the side and then side. All right, so I'm gonna have. Thank you. It's a bin, right?
And they will send Kevin Vanden Langenberg to the sin
Four.
bin.
Side entry.
So Minnesota going back
Tackle
to work.
9.
And driving. And a try. So Minnesota continuing to chip away. And they've pulled to within 10.
I hear, bud. I hear one. On this, on the outside of the box here. Don't worry about it. Let him do it.
Nate Lavka will take the kick himself. And the kick connects. So the first kick hit by either team thus far in the match.
What I need to have happen is in and around 2020.
And Minnesota has pulled within 8.
Okay.
So despite Wisconsin's dominant start to this match, Minnesota able to respond, and it could really be anyone's match at this point. Still a good amount of time left to play. As Minnesota will reset. And they continue their ground and pound approach offensively. As that pass bobbled. Minnesota, though, still in control. They'll reset the ruck and attack once again. And they've barely used their backs at all in this second half. While I may have criticized their approach a little bit earlier in the broadcast, it has worked out all right for them in this second half. They've been productive. And, obviously at this point in the match, conditioning starts to be an issue. Players start to get a little bit fatigued.
Win with the body, win with the body.
And this is a situation in which maybe Minnesota's persistence can pay off.
Tackle!
And Minnesota has decided they're going to ride or die with their approach, do what got them here. And as the tackle made, ruck formed.
Thank you.
And spinning it out. And breaking the tackle there. Nicely done. Tanner Molitor just running over that would-be tackler. As a knock-on, that pass dropped.
Knocked on. Just a knock on.
And Wisconsin catching a break.
Clock's off. Ken White.
And the clock stops temporarily. As we take a look.
Thanks.
Look at that broken tackle. Almost looking like a fly on a windshield.
Clock's off.
Molitor would not go to the turf.
Scrum. Mark's here.
But Wisconsin, though, catching a break on the knock-on. And they'll take this scrum.
Right foot. It's the other left.
And Wisconsin, with plenty of numbers, split out. And we'll see, maybe they attempt some type of skip pass or trick play here.
Set. Behind the ball, behind the ball, behind the ball.
And Wisconsin will spin it out. And the skip pass bounces and dropped.
Advantage game.
Minnesota back in possession. And another try for Minnesota. So Minnesota able to capitalize on the turnover. And a huge break there. And that was Joe Conrad who scooped it up and took it in. And, it has to have been a frustrating day to this point.
The clock's right.
For the back line of Minnesota. Correction, that was Isaac Neer with the try. But like I was saying, it has to have been a frustrating day to this point for Minnesota, especially for their backs, not really getting involved a whole lot. But Neer with an opportunity there, and he capitalizes. So Minnesota has pulled to within 3.
What been returned?
And what a comeback they have made. And obviously capitalizing there on Wisconsin's mistake. And Wisconsin will kick once again. And that kick a little deeper. And now Minnesota will go back to work. Continue to chip away. Wisconsin able to win that ball. And they will go back to work offensively. Now trying to break free.
Tackle! Release, Red!
And now Wisconsin will try to swing the momentum a little bit. As a whistle.
It's buried. Don't play him.
Wisconsin will maintain possession, though.
Yeah, good enough. Keep moving, too.
And go back to work.
Never onside. advantage.
And obviously
6.
not Wisconsin with not a particularly comfortable lead, just 3 points. They want to pad that a little bit.
Clock's off. Captain. Hold that mark. Coming. You guys are now under pressure. I just had 2 obvious penalties.
And Christian Larson
22.
summoned once again.
Ball. 6. Gotta make sure.
And the penalty issues
Go ahead.
continue. Wisconsin will try to make a statement here as they go back to work with a full head of steam. And the ruck formed. They've got numbers. Spinning it out. And now driving it down. Solid tackle made there.
4. Move.
Wisconsin still in business as that pass dropped. So Minnesota catching a break there on the drop pass. Wisconsin was starting to get into a little bit of a rhythm there offensively. And we'll have another scrum.
Space. Give me. Thank you. Nothing more. Crouch. Bind. Set.
And Minnesota will spin it out. And back on the attack.
Tackle. Tackle 5. Don't play that. Don't play. No, don't play that. Yeah, I know.
And spinning out once again and taking it into contact. Nice tackle there. And now looking like he had a chance to break free for a second there. Still driving. Not going down without a fight.
You're just going slow.
And another big collision there.
Hey, not that 9. Work backwards. Thank you. Tackle.
And Minnesota now threatening as the ruck starts to collapse.
Clock's off. Spin return. Spin return. Clock's on.
And Kevin Vanden Langenberg will return from the sin bin. Wisconsin needs him out there. One of their best pack players.
Red,
And he's the type of
drive,
player
please,
who can
all right? Hold the drive until the ball comes in.
respond to Minnesota's
Foot down,
physical
foot down.
challenge.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Stay behind the ball.
So Wisconsin will spin it out of the scrum. Now looking for some daylight. they'll spin it out and do it over.
Was that forward? Was that forward?
And the offload executed. And off to the races. And this will be a walk-in try. And Wisconsin responds.
Conferred with my AR, guys. You're okay.
Wisconsin using their breakaway speed there. And they'll pull away. And that try could not have come at a better time. Minnesota was starting to get on a little bit of a roll.
Yeah.
And now Wisconsin will attempt the kick.
Water off, please.
And the kick misses. But not until after the damage is done. Jerry Williams taking it in for the score.
24.
And now 75 minutes in, Wisconsin leads Minnesota 30-22.
Okay. Okay.
And a short kick there. Fielded. Now Wisconsin will go back to work, moving it down the line. And a solid tackle there. And now looking for more daylight. Tackle made, loose ball. Wisconsin able to cover it up. And they will spin it out. And a nice move there. Jerry Williams showing off his quick feet.
What's on timing?
Some hard running there. Loose ball. And play whistle dead. And we'll have a scrum to Minnesota.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
And Minnesota will spin it out and go back on the
Really?
attack. And now a breakaway, but a nice open field tackle there. Loose ball scooped up by Wisconsin. And a big turn of events there. Looked like Minnesota might have had a chance to break away and create a scoring
Eight, five,
opportunity.
do not play.
Wisconsin quickly recovering defensively. And now trying to set things up offensively. As that pass dropped, but scooped up.
Okay. Just carry the touch.
And play whistled to a
Reach
stop.
the mark. Stay there. Red, you want to give your gap? Clock still correct.
And we'll have a line out for Minnesota. And they win it. And now a reverse. And going back into contact. And you can tell with the way they're running, they're just hungry for another try.
Tackle.
And certainly threatening. And they'll spin it out again.
Tackle. The tackle now.
A solid tackle there around the legs.
Recycle. Thank you, 9.
As the tackle made, but getting back to his feet and taking off. And now reversing field. And taken down. And inching closer and closer.
Time's up.
And stopped just short. Now kicking it out. And trying to drive it in.
Held up. Time's up.
But time will expire. And that'll do it. So talk about a dramatic ending to this match.
Thanks.
Your final score, Wisconsin-Stevens Point
Round, guys.
30. Minnesota 22.
Thanks, guys.
Give Minnesota State Moorhead, though, credit. They battle it out until the end. And in just a minute, we'll send it down to Brett for some interviews. But it was certainly a hard-fought smash-mouth contest. Neither team backed down. It was almost like a heavyweight fight in boxing. And this Wisconsin-Stevens Point team making their fans proud. It's been awesome this entire weekend, you know, seeing all the family and friends who have traveled with these teams to cheer them on. And the passion is certainly evident. As mentioned, I will send it down to Brett soon. We'll also have our awards. And we're waiting on Brett now. And we'll send it down to Brett. Brett, what do you got?
Hey, I'm with Jake Toff from Minnesota Moorhead here. So you guys had a very tough start to this game, but showed a lot of heart coming back. How do you feel your team performed today?
I think, yeah, in the first half we really struggled. Their backs were very successful and really breaking us up outside. So we kind of switched up our strategy at halftime, tried to really work it on the inside because that's where we felt our strengths were. And yeah, I mean, as you can see with the comeback, I mean, I think it worked, but we didn't have quite enough time. And I mean, that's a really good team. We've played them before, and they're tough. Yeah.
They are a conference rival. How cool is it to play a conference rival on the national stage?
It was pretty awesome. I mean, we played them back in Wisconsin in November, and we lost then. And, you know, we were really excited for a second opportunity here, you know, on a bigger stage in New York. It's tough to, I mean, it didn't work out the way we wanted it to, but, I mean, we fought. I mean, it was a lot closer than the last time we played them, so I'm proud of the guys today.
What can you guys take away from playing at Nationals? I know you didn't get the results you were looking for. You had a couple of losses this weekend. But how can you take this and go forward and push for next year?
I mean, last year we won one game. So just being here was a huge step for the community. And, I mean, this is my last career game, but I know we have such a good, I mean, base of guys, so many young guys, that I think that we'll find our way back here. Those guys will in the coming years. And just being here is just huge for the team and the program. So.
There you have it. Minnesota State Moorhead making their first appearance at Nationals. Let's send it back upstairs.
Nicely done, Brett. So Minnesota State Moorhead certainly not getting the result that they wanted, but certainly a hard-fought effort. And actually, in just a minute, Brett will talk with the winning team. And we'll throw it down to him right now.
I'm here with Elliot Van Oss from UW Stevens Point. So they gave you a little bit of a scare there towards the end of the game. How do you think your team performed today?
Well, it's not the first time it's happened. We played them earlier in the year, and they're a great team. I told the boys, got to keep our heads, make sure that we just keep attacking. Let's get the ball to the backs. Forwards just did a great job with rucking over and helping us get the ball, too. So wouldn't be able to do it without the forwards. Backs did a pretty good job executing. Overall, I would say it's a great team effort today.
So I understand this is your first experience at Nationals in 15s,
yes.
And you guys took an 18-hour bus to get here. So talk to me a little bit about that and how you were able to prepare to play this weekend after taking such a long trip.
Well, the long trip, not going to lie, it kind of sucked. But, I mean, all the boys, we slept on the bus. We left at 4:30 in the morning from Stevens Point. It was really hard to get up that early. But it was just a mentality that we had to have. We keep our heads, stay focused, and we came here for one reason. So we wanted that number one, but things happen.
So you did end up losing that first game, which is unfortunate. But how do you come back and play get up for a third-place game this weekend? And you guys came out strong with a lot of passion. How do you get up for something like that?
Well, I think actually being able to get a good night's rest was really crucial, being able to play a little later. And actually the rain kind of holding off was great. So getting up and being able to do it, just come out here and play, it's not that bad. It's something that we're pretty used to.
Well, UW Stevens Point finished third place in the Challenge Cup this year. Back to you guys upstairs.
Nicely done, Brett. And that 18-hour bus ride did lead to some glory, but that does sound pretty miserable, not going to lie. I hope they at least had some funny movies or something.